Okay. Once upon a time, my husband, Scott, was driving home from the gym, walked in the door, had a heart attack, and died in front of me. And this is my story. He was rushed to Northside Cherokee, revived, and open heart surgery, didn't recover, and he was 98% blocked, healthiest guy you'd ever know. And it came from nowhere and it rocked our world. And this is a little bit about the story and the inception and creation of my business, ArtBeat Soundwave. We didn't have a will, and you may wonder what does that have to do with anything, but it's a huge part of the story and a big thing that I talk about in addition to the business. We didn't have a will, even though we talked about it for 20 years, and it basically put me in probate. I didn't even know that term. Now I could write a book. And it prevented me from accessing any of our money. Wells Fargo told me to leave. I couldn't even walk into the bank. Our credit cards were canceled because he was the primary and I was the authorized purchaser. My health care ended 2 weeks after he died. Couldn't do COBRA because we didn't have access to money. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. And I'm gonna reference my part. Oh, my name was not on our house mortgage or the deed because he was our primary breadwinner. So it was his money and his, for the mortgage and the loan and everything was based on his salary. So, yeah, that was a crazy time. So when Scott died, we started going through all of our devices, social media, all our phones, iPads, everything. And we were looking for photos, like everyone does when somebody passes away. There are some of our photos. And I'm gonna go to this. And we stumbled on voicemails on my phone, on his phone, on my daughter's phone. We stumbled on videos on Facebook, also on our phones, and it rocked our world. The impact of a voice, it's so tied to a memory and you have no idea until you go through it. I did not know that. I knew photos would crush me. I was kind of preparing and bracing for that, but the voice, it's so tied to a person and to the memories. It's just outstanding. Scott died mid-October, and about a month later, I was having dinner with my girls, and I said, if you ever got a tattoo, what would you get? Just a conversation with my daughters. And my youngest daughter said, I have a video on my phone that I found of Dad laughing, and I would want the sound wave of him laughing. And I didn't even know that was a thing. Apparently it's a big thing. So Christmas was around the corner. I had no access to money. I was almost broke. And I turned to what I know, which was art. I had an art business for 11 years. It was called Moo Cow Creations. Some of you know of that business. I made signs. So it was just a natural progression for me to turn to what I know. And I turned to that. I got to work and I started doing a little R&D. I stole my daughter's phone. I got that audio of Scott laughing, and I made my first ArtBeat Soundwave. It was their Christmas present, basically, that Christmas. And I took the audio file, I put it into a Soundwave, I added words below it, I added the QR code, and when I first scanned it, again, my daughters were away at school, and I made this whole thing, and I thought it would be Siri. I thought it would be a computer. And I didn't know, and this is 2018, this is 3 years ago. So since the pandemic, we all know QR codes a little bit more from them being on restaurants, tables and so forth, but I didn't know what a QR code really was. So when I scanned it and it was his voice laughing, it floored me, and I knew I had something special. So on the left is me holding up. It was small. It just says Dad laughing, and then I have the QR code on the back, and that is Scott. So that's the very, very first ArtBeat Soundwave. So I knew this was a miracle. I've never been one of those people that just had that gut feeling, and I knew when I was creating it that this was something magic. I felt like it was a gift that was presented to me. And you have to understand, this was a month and a half after he died. I mean, I had just planned the funeral and trying to figure out probate, learning that I had no access to money and all this, and I got to what I loved, which was what helped me grieve and helped me get through it all. And I was determined to make this into a story of tragedy to triumph. I just really was. So this is just a little example of some of the signs. Again, that's my logo, Mukau Creations. I'm not doing that anymore. I put it all aside, but those are just showing you that, you know, if you keep going back to your passion and what you love, that there's sure to be success. So like I said, I knew this was a miracle, magical piece, so I had to pay my bills. I had to hire a probate lawyer. I had to go to court. I had all the survivor spouse situation in Georgia, as you know, the lawyer is horrible. Probate's horrible. People don't know about wills, and they just think, oh, those bills are not yours to pay. He passed away. Or I'm sure that your mortgage company will understand, or Georgia Power. No, I mean, all the bills were my responsibility. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make this into a business, or at least pay my bills. So I finessed it. I made it bigger. I wanted it to be a simple, elegant piece of work. And again, as I said, I took the Soundwave files, and I'm creating the Soundwave, adding the words. The lower right has a small little area as well, and then you have the QR code on the front. And then on the far right of the slide, you'll see I also have the QR code on the back, larger. And I started posting this on Facebook, and the people that had been my customers for my other business, and also because this is such a tremendous community and people knew my story. They knew I had 2 daughters and lost my husband. I had really no family, and I had the bills and probate, and people started ordering, and the stories were unbelievable. And it wasn't just, oh, my father passed away or my mother passed away. It was people, like a husband said, can I record like an I love you to my daughter or my wife? Or mothers saying, could I do my daughters laughing, my children laughing? I'll never forget. And so every new idea that came from my customers in the community, I just implemented right away. And I'll never forget, some man reached out to me and he said, my wife and I have lost many pregnancies, and we're going through in vitro, and we've lost more pregnancies, and we have a healthy baby, and we just got an ultrasound, and I want that ultrasound, the heartbeat. Could you do that? And I was like, oh my gosh, like just the ideas just flowed, not really from me, it just organically flowed. And I realized that my brokenness was a bridge, a connection to others. I've lost 4 pregnancies, so I could relate to this man. And when somebody said, my grandpa just died and I have this audio, like I could relate because I just lost my husband. So being able to be empathetic and have that connection really was what this was about. It wasn't about a piece of wood. It was about giving people a way to celebrate the people they love in their life in a really unique art form. So I quit my job. But basically what happened was I had to put everything away because I realized I can't pay my bills making this, or I couldn't. This is 3 years ago. So I packed up this, which was like my miracle piece that just fell from the earth. And I packed up my Moo Cow Creations business and I went and got a job. And it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm grateful that I had it, but I needed health care because I had put my daughters and I on Medicaid because we didn't have money and probate and all that jazz. And so I left when it was dark and I came home when it was dark. I've been to these CAM Business Club meetings, the Woodstock Business Club meetings. This is a similar story. So many people left their corporate job. And I couldn't. I had to pay my bills. But about 6 months ago, I started having chest pains, and I'm healthy. And I realized it was stress, and it was my body telling me to stop doing what I don't want to do. And so I walked into my job and I quit. And I went to my first Woodstock business meeting, and then the next week went to Canton, and I got a new logo and got to work. Christmas was abundant. I was so thankful to get orders and get back into it, get my studio back up and running, and this is what I'm doing. So I'm here. So this is it. And like I said, basically you're taking the audio file, you're creating the sound wave, putting the words below it. Really the magic of it all, I'm gonna use my glasses. This here. The magic of this is the QR code, really. So I want to scan this. QR code app, all readers are all free. I mean, don't ever pay for one, but basically that's what you do is you just download a QR code reader, whether you have an iPhone or Android. I'm going to play this.
It's driving me crazy. That's a change from.
Let me do that again. And I'm going to put this here too. That should help. I turned my volume up though.
So this is the chord that's driving me crazy. So it's the change from.
What was really cool was when I realized I could, the QR code could be longer. And that's what I realized too, that people wanted more. They wanted to hear more, not just a snippet. So in the beginning I would do the, let me see if I'm behind here. Uh-oh. There we go. You know, I would have a husband would record an I love you to his wife, and it would just be I love you, honey. And that was 2018. And then when I started creating more and more, and I realized because people wanted more of the person in their life, they wanted to hear more. So I'm gonna play one more. Thank you. Oh, yes, thank you.
Both sides.
Okay, here we go. Takes a minute.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Megan. Happy birthday to you.
So, I'm glad you all laughed, because that was the intent, but I just love that, and I love that you hear the laughter of his wife. This is from my friend Kristen, she's actually here. This is from her husband, who has not passed away, and he does this every year for his children. He sings this happy birthday to his children dramatically and obnoxiously, and it's just like, I love this because it's like the celebration of their life. This is something they will always remember every year, that Dad sang this happy birthday song, very obnoxiously, embarrassingly, and you can hear her laughing, and it's just like this. Of course, I love the one with Scott because I have a personal connection, but this is it. This is the real deal. This is celebrating the people in your life. And so the QR code's on the back too. And I also, when this has evolved, obviously any business does, so people are, I'm getting ideas from people like, you should do this and you should do this, so that's why I'm here, for you all to give me ideas, but I'm telling you the things that I do with this so that you can say, oh, she's already doing that, or this could be modified. I give a couple cards, so that people can give them away to family, or display them near, or get them framed, or whatever. So let's go to the next slide. Let me go back real quick. Okay, so customers. Who are my customers? Anyone that wants to celebrate life, celebrate their loved ones. Again, it could be a recorded message to a loved one. It could be the voicemail of someone that's passed away. Obviously, that's the most impactful. That person's no longer here and we've captured their voice. So that is kind of a bread and butter right there. Baby heartbeat, ultrasounds, marriage proposals, baby coos, singing a love ballad, lullaby, or bad karaoke, kind of like this one that I just played was perfect. Children's voices, capturing the sounds of your kids when they're saying something funny or wrong until they learn the correct way to say it. Obviously, if you have a musician in your life, that's really wonderful. Wedding vows. I just think that would be tremendous. I'm trying to find that, but can you imagine getting the wedding vows, and it would just be an excerpt here, but when you play the QR code, it could be the whole, them saying their wedding vows. Laughter, favorite quote, family motto, scripture. I mean, it's just endless, and you all may have other ideas. Oh, somebody recently said someone in service, someone that's gone away, they're overseas, to capture their voice for their family. And I'm going to say this wrong, a billet, is that right? People in sports, is that right? It's when the kids come to like a host family. Do they know? I have like blank faces. I have a friend whose son plays hockey, and she said that they host billets, and they go to the host house, so they may be there for a year and be away from their family. So just, again, it's just celebrating the people in your life and capturing their sound. So you guys may have other ideas and ways to do that. Target audience, it's kind of the same. I mean, you're celebrating your loved ones. So parents wanting to get voices of their children, or parents wanting to get the voices of their parents, the grandparents, before they pass away. Which, wedding venues, going back to marriage proposals and wedding vows, funeral homes, assisted living facilities, widow groups. I've tried that, that's tricky. OBGYN offices for the heartbeat. Again, I mentioned folks in service. I know what to do, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I have no problem cold calling and going up to Derby Funeral Home and talking to them, but I don't know how to go to, other than what I'm doing right now, which is posting on Facebook and word of mouth, which has been tremendous, but I need to take this to the next step. I don't know how to do that. I was at a meeting recently, and it really brought to light to me, like, when could you do this? I'm like, whenever. And that brought me back to this one of Kristen's husband, and how she could do this for her birthdays, which are 365 days a year. Obviously, all the holidays, again, if somebody has passed away, giving that as a gift. But other than that, all the other holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, all those kind of could be an avenue for customers. How can I grow? This is where I need your help. So number one, and I've been to a couple of these Million Cups since I left my job, and everyone says the same thing, spread the word. That's what I need. I need spread the word, tell the story. I love this story. I mean, it makes me sad, but I do feel like it's a story of tragedy to triumph. It has like I said, it's provided me a bridge to connect and understand if people have lost someone or just understand how much a voice means. But I need others to tell the story. But these next bullet points are really the avenue of where I can get, some feedback and assistance from the community here. So how can I reach that target audience that I was saying? How can I reach them so that I can get repetitive brand awareness? I need recurring orders. I need a studio full of orders. Video. I realized that I did some art festival at Town Lake. It was actually a chili cook-off at Town Lake at Eagle Watch. And it's at Eagle Watch. And a friend of mine videoed me like doing this. And she gave me the video and I posted it, and then people are like, oh, because I've seen this and it's really pretty, but what is it? They don't understand the functional part of it. So I realized I need a video. So I'm researching the best way to hire somebody to do a video. But I'm open to ideas on that. What do I need to show on that other than me showing a QR code or me in my studio kind of telling my story? I'm a Facebook girl. I'm not an Instagram girl. I'm 55, so I have limited experience with social media, so I'm great on Facebook. But I'm sure that many of you would say that's my next step. I need to hire, and everything's hiring. I mean, so many of us are entrepreneurs, and we know that it's expensive to run a business. You've got to take that next step. So I'm trying to be frugal and smart and intentional with my next steps. So I know I need to get a video, and that's money. And I know I probably need to have some assistance with my social media, and that's money. Another thing that is something that I noodle around as I grow the business is I do have a website. Again, I'm not super proficient with the social media, but every time I post to Facebook, I'm posting to Instagram and getting it on my Facebook page, on my website. Now my website, I have like probably 150 examples of past orders and customer reviews. That's another thing, customer reviews. Hearing me talk about my story is one thing, but hearing Kristen tell about this, so I have the customer reviews. I always try to capture those from a customer afterwards because it's so much more impactful hearing it from them than me sitting up here just being a talking head talking about growing my business. So other ways that I can use those customer testimonials, maybe a video of them. I've never done that. Etsy. So like I said, I had an art business. I never had Etsy. I never wanted to. I was raising my 2 children. My art business was just to pay for supplemental, like kids sports, uniforms, and things like that. But now my kids are older. Do I go to that world of online selling? I really don't want to, but I heard Etsy is a great platform, but I know there's a lot of negatives. It costs money to do it. Art festivals. I really think this is going to be really important for me. I know that Canton and Woodstock have kind of changed their format a little bit, so trying to figure out how I can get to any and all festival. Like, I'll do them all. And this is kind of my setup. Like I said, I went to Eagle Watch. It was kind of the first time, and I set up my thing, and I know what to do. I just need to get in there. But once I talk, and once people see it, it's a sale. They're already thinking of ways they could utilize this, whether somebody passed away or to their wife or children, whatever. And the last is brick and mortar. Like, could I be at a retail storefront? And how could I be at a retail storefront when this is interactive? Those are my questions. Those are my ways I need help.